Okay guys, I'm working on my truck today. I had this code on here, cylinder 6 Misfire, and I've gotten this several times now. And what I'm going to do, let's see what I got it on here, 3 times maybe. Yeah, 2, rough start. And again, so what I'm going to do, I'm not used to working on cars that are newer like this. I have individual coil packs, and it sounds like these coil packs can fail. So I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take the number 6 coil and I'm going to move it over to one of the adjacent cylinders and see if the Misfire moves along with where that coil is. So sorry, real clunky talking about that. So I'm going to do that. First I'm going to start my truck up and clear the codes. I won't show you that, but I'll show you that I got the codes cleared here in a second. I don't know if it's showing up in the camera there, but the engine is running kind of rough, and you've got the engine light on there. So I'm going to clear that out real quick. Okay, so I did clear out the code. So it does say this, it's got this random multiple cylinder misfire detected code. So it says that's permanent. I suppose maybe that goes away on its own. I'm not really sure. Let's see if I start this, if the code goes away. Okay. All right, so that code did go away. So now I'm gonna do my work here and try to move that coil. Maybe a slight change of plans here, if you can see that, but I started taking this cover off right here, and as soon as I move this a little bit, the number 6 spark plug wire right here fell out and is no longer connected. So I am going to hook that back up and see what happens. Okay, so I really want to know what happens now. Like I said, I want to pull that plastic cover off, and I barely lifted the edge of it, and that number 6 plug wire came out from underneath the cover and swung down underneath those coolant lines there. So it's possible that that cable had been coming loose. It eventually came all the way loose. So let's see what happens when I try to start this. So I can't tell if it's running rough or not. It feels really smooth. So I'm gonna go driving around for a while and see what happens. Sheriff. I'm glad I decided to let off. Also, there's no check engine light on anymore. Before, if I was, trying to step on it at all, the engine light would start flashing, and like I said, the truck would really complain. All right, here we go. not a race car, it's a truck. As you can see, it has good acceleration now. It was really, I should have probably done it before, but it was just really, really bad. So I'm gonna stop this here and do a little wrap up when I get back. So there you go, purring like a kitten. When you stop at a light with the radio going, it feels like it's not running at all. It feels like it shut off. That's how smoothly it runs. So I'm going to give a little bit of a wrap up of the misfire issue on the CoPart Silverado 1500. So I bought the truck in the fall of 2023, and when I got it, I found a couple of electrical issues, and once I got those sorted out, I found that when I tried to drive it, it ran really rough, it hesitated. If I try to go up a hill, it didn't want to do it, like I said earlier. And I just couldn't figure out what was wrong. And for a while, it actually seemed to go away. It ran really good. I drove it like 30 minutes one way on the interstate and drove it back to where I live. 30 minutes more, and it ran just fine. But then other times I would drive it and it just ran really like crap. So I'm not used to working on trucks that have the multiple coils on them, and so I wasn't really sure what the issue could be. So the first thing I did was change the spark plugs, and those really looked like they were pretty new, so I don't think the spark plugs were an issue at all. I put everything back together, and like I said, I drove it, and I was trying to figure out what was wrong. I was sure I had a fuel injector issue or a clogged fuel filter. I looked, and on this truck, as far as I can figure out, on a gas, a 3.5 liter gas Silverado, there is not a fuel filter other than the fuel filter inside the tank. That's the only fuel filter there is. So I gave up on the fuel filter thing. What I ended up doing is I got a can of the Berryman's injector cleaner, which is supposed to be really good, and I put that in the truck and I started driving it, hoping that that would clear up a fuel injector possibly. I thought maybe it was a fuel injector problem. I wasn't getting real good messages, error codes on the engine that would tell me what this was. A long time went by, and eventually I started to get this engine cylinder 6 misfire. And like I showed you, I got that 3 times. And that's the first real thing that kind of pointed to one particular cylinder and one issue. So I needed to look at, maybe the injector's bad or clogged or something. Maybe the spark plug is bad. I changed the spark plug, so I knew that was good. And then I was going to check and see if maybe the coil was bad. And I would move the coil to see if the trouble followed the coil. I don't know if the previous people that drove it had this problem. It could have happened when it was shipped here. It could have started happening when it was shipped on the back of a truck. Hard to say. But anyway, I'm kind of glad I got it sorted out, because I had started pricing new coils. I'd been pricing, I was chasing around the high pressure fuel pump maybe being bad, because one of the symptoms of the high pressure fuel pump is not working properly is you can start having stumbling and hesitation. So I thought maybe that was a problem. I thought maybe it was a fuel injector. There was a number of things it could have been, and I didn't know which cylinder it was either. So that was really the struggle. So I'm going to call this one done for now. I'm going to cross my fingers and hope it doesn't come back. No engine light. Engine light's gone. I didn't look for codes again after I got done, but I'm going to guess that there's no codes anymore because the check engine light is off. You can see it accelerates really, really good. It's a truck. It's a 5.3 liter V8. It's not, it's not a whatever. It's not a drag racing engine or anything like that. So it only does so much. But I'm really happy with how this came out. Hope you liked the video. If you have a problem with your engine, hopefully this maybe gives you some ideas of things you can look at. And anyway, so we'll see you on the next one.